In our current internet age of movie news and speculation, I can't help but notice that we, more often than not, find ourselves trying to outsmart films before allowing ourselves to become blind viewers and experience the real magic in the cinema the way we're supposed to. For example, I don't like hearing someone take a guess as to what happens to Hulk in Avengers Age of Ultron, because then I'm going to watch Age of Ultron with that bit of speculation in my head, and frankly, I just want to watch the thing and trust it'll surprise me. This means I really have no interest in trying to second guess or overanalyze particular shots in trailers, as much as I tend to look at the broader 2 or 3 minutes overall and talk about how it made me feel and what came to my mind as I watched it. I take quite a lot of pride in only doing videos on trailers if I feel there's an interesting discussion to stem from them, but I'm also not opposed to just giving my general thoughts if enough people ask me to. Case in point, wow, have there been a lot of trailers released in the past few weeks or so, and I suppose it only makes sense to start with the big guy. Damn it, they got me. And you know what? If this genuinely looked cynical and pandering in an insulting kind of way, but still managed to grab me for simply being a Star Wars property, then yeah, you can bet I'd have been embarrassed as ever to have gotten so excited over the Force Awakens official trailer. Funny thing though, it actually looks good. In fact, why am I even beating around the bush this time? This looks f***ing awesome. The cinematography, the depth to the images, they've absolutely nailed the aesthetic of the picture. I'm kind of amazed at how it looks just as visually rich as the original films did. The John Williams score, while more or less recycled, is just as romantic and moving as ever. I'm really intrigued to see the new cast members interacting, and like the first trailer, it seems to excellently balance the old and the new, which gives me a lot more faith in the movie not being an onslaught of franchise references and winks to fans to cover up some kind of lack of understanding the source material. But what I love the most about all this is simply how much they're not showing us. This is probably the best type of trailer you could have done. Keep it simple, establish the new talent, plant the seeds of that very same childlike wonderment we used to get back in our minds, and invite us back to this galaxy far, far away. And I still can't quite make a safe bet on how the plot will unravel, and that's exactly the way that I like it. This got me really excited, and even kind of encourages me to, dare I say it, enter the movie with open arms. A refreshingly happy Harrison Ford certainly said it best.
Chewie. We're home.
And you know what? God, we just might be. Cards on the table, guys, I'm really not very excited for Batman v Superman. I think the premise sounds superficial, the title sounds awful, it's currently serving as proof that Warner Brothers really did just chalk up Man of Steel's poor critical reception to simply being because Batman wasn't in it, and every fresh bit of news that's come off of it makes it seem more and more like a product of brand management. I mean, let's just think about this for a moment. Having Batman and Superman fight is definitely a fun, oh why the hell not, we have both characters on screen, we might as well moment, but when you base an entire film around just that bit, it instantly feels cheapened and becomes incredibly boring. Iron Man and Thor fighting in the Avengers is fun also, sure, but does that mean that I wanted them duking it out the whole runtime? No, of course not. It's just a little pleasing sequence that establishes they're both powerful beings, and that fighting each other is pointless because the real enemy is already off somewhere else working his evil schemes, whilst they're being dumb brutes punching each other because the other's wearing a costume. You come to see heroes being heroes, not heroes misunderstanding each other. Like I said, that's boring. I can't say for certain that Batman v Superman will literally just be building up to this moment. I mean, how can I? I haven't seen the film yet. But trying to sell the film to me with purely this prospect of seeing them punch it out tells me what kind of audience they're aiming for, and it ain't me. That being said, the cinematography looks great, the cameraman is actually using a tripod this time. Seriously, thank for that. It actually feels like a Snyder movie with a refreshingly rich color palette, which really does actually complement both Superman and Batman's outfits. They had the good sense not to cram every Justice League member in there, and story-wise its mindset looks to be in the right place. Granted, none of it is particularly subtle, and I'm really not looking forward to every thematic nuance in the DC universe probably being ruined by glaringly obvious dialogue and visual aids. But at least these themes of morality and questioning power have taken priority in the story over, yeah, Superman and Batman are gonna punch each other, which prior to the trailer's release seemed to be the only thing Warner Brothers were trying to hook me with. I'm not exactly sure that not looking as bad as I feared it would necessarily means I think it's gonna work well, and let's not forget Man of Steel's trailer also promised big ideas at the time, but you know what, when all is said and done, I actually think they may have a fair shot of pulling through with this one. I really liked the premise behind Terminator 5 back when the teaser trailer was the only trailer. I liked that they were going in a new direction whilst also following the same traditional cat and mouse chase plot outline. I liked that they were subverting expectations and seeming like a lame rehash to reveal that they're going to be altering the timeline. I liked that the older T-800 was going to fight the younger version from 1984, again because it looks like a fun little bit and nothing more. And hey, they got Arnold back. I liked all that stuff. The second trailer on the other hand, there's some weird thing about the Terminator they're trying to survive actually being John Connor, or some amalgamation of the Terminators and the humans but posing with John Connor's face. I'm not really sure what it's meant to be, if we're legitimately supposed to think it's the real dude himself, or if that twist moment shown is just a crappy fake-out sequence lasting 10 seconds in the film itself. I can't quite say this makes it look bad, just that it makes it look worryingly complicated for the sake of complication. Or, who knows, maybe they're just trying to pull a Total Recall on us and the intent really is to just have everyone mess about with the timeline till there's some kind of breaking point. I will say that I like how all these clips seem to suggest we're going to see Arnold at about 50 different ages. I'm kind of interested to see where they're going with that. I'm definitely intrigued, though I wouldn't go as far as to say it was a good trailer. Jurassic World looks good. I don't think it's going to be mesmerizing or reshape the film landscape as we know it, but it looks like an entertaining, kinda corny soft reboot of the series. I enjoy Chris Pratt's joke about needing new attractions when they've already resurrected the dinosaurs, I enjoy the depth of the colours we're seeing on screen, I even like the premise. While the effects on the other hand look quite unfinished to me, and I really don't tend to say that often, there's no doubt in my mind that this will be a lot of entertaining schlocky fun regardless. And if they play their cards right, hey, it could even be the smart kind. Here's hoping it all goes well. One thing Marvel seems to knock out of the park more often than not in their films is an appreciative competency in the tonal direction, and so it's not all that surprising to me that Ant-Man looks like it really knows what it's doing. The shrinking effects look terrific, the ant-sized action sequences appear creative and dazzling as ever, the script sounds appropriately irreverent and humorous so far, and yeah, how could I not laugh out loud at the Thomas the Tank Engine gag? That is just a taste of the kind of comedy we can hope to see. I reckon this is really going to surprise people. Now comes the awkward moment where I reveal that the only thing I especially liked about the new Fantastic Four trailer is that they put some humour in there, and that tells us it won't simply be all doom and gloom. Otherwise, did they shoot this entire movie in a weekend? Because it really does just look like a rushed, limited and pedestrian kind of narrative for what is meant to be a big redefining interpretation of these heroes. Also, I gotta be honest, I think the thing looks awful. Not so much down to the effect, like the Jurassic World trailer looking unfinished, but more simply that it looks nothing like Jamie Bell, which is especially embarrassing when you consider they probably spent an awful lot of money on this thing that, as it turns out, looks worse than a physical prosthetic suit from over a decade ago. I really want it to be good, but I don't know. I'm getting we just kinda had to make this movie flashbacks. And there you have it, 6 trailer thoughts in one video. Please do not expect this to be a recurring thing. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. Cheers for watching guys, and as always if you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel.